Greetings, my dear truth seekers. It seems that the Turkish authorities could not imagine that Russia would react so harshly and decisively to the recent unfriendly steps of Turkish President Erdogan. Against this background, Putin's words, which he uttered in 2015, are beginning to take on a new meaning, making Ankara pretty nervous. In particular, back then, Putin said that Turkey would certainly be punished, and that Ankara would not get off with tomatoes alone. However, it seems that time and history have not taught the Turkish Sultan anything, and he naively believed that Moscow would turn a blind eye to the frankly unfriendly and treacherous actions of the Turkish leader. So, it turned out that Russia began to apply a number of harsh measures against Turkey, as soon as Erdogan violated the agreement with Moscow and handed over to Ukraine the commanders of the Azov regiment, which is considered terrorist in Russia. It turned out that as soon as the Azov regiment militants were handed over to the Ukrainian side, unknown combat units attacked the pro-Turkish forces in Syria. As a result of this attack, the pro-Turkish units lost dozens of people killed, and 7 units of heavy equipment were destroyed. However, this turned out to be only the beginning of all the problems that Turkey faced. A week after these events, in Russia, they announced that Moscow refused to accept 200 tons of Turkish fruits, because a Mediterranean fly was allegedly found in this batch of fruits, which is a carrier of serious infectious diseases. As a result, the entire batch of Turkish fruits was sent back to the Turkish shores, which brought enormous losses to Turkish producers. Moreover, as soon as Russia withdrew from the grain deal and banned all foreign vessels from entering Ukrainian ports, the FSB arrested one of the Turkish ships, detaining the ship's captain and his entire crew. The FSB officially stated that explosive traces were found in the cargo holds of this Turkish ship. As a result, Russia also banned all foreign vessels from entering the Kerch Strait, if the vessel was loaded outside the Russian Federation. And if you think that Turkey's problems were over here, then you are deeply mistaken. In mid-July, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation and the State Duma Committee on Tourism and Tourism Infrastructure Development officially announced that the risks of severe earthquakes in Turkey remain at a very high level, and urgently appeal to citizens of the Russian Federation not to go to Turkey on vacation. As a result, tens of thousands of Russians refused to visit Turkey this season, which dealt a sensitive blow to the already weak Turkish economy. Moreover, insiders in the Kremlin report that Moscow is preparing even tougher restrictions against Turkey. All this is a matter of concern for Erdogan, who still does not hide his hope to restore trusting relations with Moscow. The Kremlin reports that the Turkish side is making a lot of efforts to arrange a meeting between Putin and Erdogan. However, unfortunately for the Turkish side, Russia is still refusing a bilateral summit meeting between Erdogan and Putin.